Today we're going to do review. This is our 5th video. We're going to go over the first 4 and then tell you a little bit about the theory, what it is and what it isn't. First of all, let me get out of the way what it isn't. When you find numbers in the Bible, that is not numerology. Numerology is defined in the dictionary as the occult. There is no occult in the Holy Bible. There's no numerology in the Bible. There are patterns. The first day, I gave you the 14 verses that tells us that God deliberately put patterns in the Bible for a reason, and that we're supposed to search them out. Those are patterns. They are not numerology. They are patterns. Let me read a verse. Ezekiel 33:6. But if the watchman see the sword come, and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come, which it will, and take any person among them, which it will, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. Now what is that saying? If you are aware of proof that God wrote the Bible, if you are aware of patterns, God is telling us in Ezekiel 33:6 to blow the trumpet, to shout it from the mountaintops. Tell everybody, especially the agnostics. The atheists, they're not going to listen. Although I don't believe there's anything such as an actual atheist. Even Richard Dawkins admits he's only 6 out of 7. Lawrence Krauss tries to tell us that everything came from nothing. Well, if something came from it, that's not nothing. It came from somewhere. Okay, we know there's a beginning. We know there's an origin. If there is an origin, there's a creator. And if there is a creator and you have proof that he wrote the Bible, there's a heaven and hell, and we know what'll get you into heaven and what'll keep you out. Now, as I said, the 14 verses that are in the Bible tell us that there are patterns there, but it's not numerology. They prove that God wrote the Bible. Those patterns are there, whether you believe it or not. All you got to do is look. If you don't look, you won't see them. Now, there are 100 patterns. They range anywhere from very simple, 7 words in Genesis 1:1, to very complex, where it took days of computer time just to derive. God would tell me what to look for and how to look for it. I didn't understand any of it. He told me everything. In some cases, it took days of computer just sitting there computing, and out would pop the proof. So you may not understand all the patterns, but if you investigate them or ask someone else to verify them for you, you'll see that they are there. God tells us they're there. They prove that God wrote the Bible. Well, that's what I did on the first video. I gave you those 14 verses. The second day, I went over the first 32 of 100. Those are the easy ones. It was only 1 in a trillion. It gets much more difficult to disprove after that. But those are the easy ones. And soon we will go over each of those 32 in more detail. 7 is divine perfection. It's the most used number in the Bible by far. There's 2 God's prime digits, 3 and 7. 3 for Trinity, 7 is for divine perfection. 2 and 5 are the only remaining prime digits. And when you put 3 and 7 side by side, 37 and 73, they're all over the Bible. And I'm not the only one that sees this. About a third of these patterns came from other people. A lot of them from Dr. Ivan Payne. But 2/3 of them God gave me directly. But they're all related to those 2 numbers, 3 and 7, which together is 37 and 73. That is not numerology. Be very, very clear here. We're not talking about study of numbers. We are talking about patterns in the Bible. The third day, I gave you signs. And I proved to you that God does signs today. Not everybody believes that, but we have proof. Now, why would God define the latitude and longitude to 16 digits? You can argue about the 50-foot variation in GPS. You can argue about exactly where on the cliff that I assume the angel was located. You can argue all that, but when you put the totality of everything on that webpage that I discussed on day 3, you will see that God verified to 16 significant digits the position of those angels on the wall. On the 4th day, I showed you pi and e and other universal constants in Genesis 1:1 and John 1:1. Pi to 5 digits, that's 10,000. It's just 5 zeros. E to 5 digits is 10,000. Well, every 10,000 sentences is going to have pi. It's going to find pi. In fact, if you take the software off that webpage that I gave you, BibleandBible.com/wonders, you can drive it yourself. You can plug in a very large file, and it'll look sequentially at however many characters you tell it, and it'll tell you all the sentences that create pi or e or whatever you tell it. It's variable. You can put in whatever you want. But so you can make pi by itself. You can make e. You can make alpha. But try and make them all together. You're not going to do it. Now on 111, I will agree it's easier to create something similar to that because I did take a lot of variables. That's true. I may have not shown that because there's other sentences that will create similar kind of thing. But of the first, pi, e, and alpha, it's very clear. You're not going to repeat that. 10,000 times 10,000 times 28,398, 28,398,241, that's 73 to the 4th power. You add all that up plus everything else, you're not going to get anywhere close. And let me tell you a little bit about what the theory is. The theory of biblical patterns. And it's on every page of my website. No mortal could have put all the patterns in the Holy Bible without divine intervention. Try and create that wonders page with any other sentences. Just try it. You're not going to be able to. That proves that God has wonders in the Bible.